It is teleforum, but it is a special teleforum today. Today is the candidate cast, sponsored by the Cornerstone of Beaver County. I am in a room full of civic leaders, and I'm going to introduce them. We've got a panel, and we've got the candidates. In candidate cast, it is for the commissioners. Julian Taylor is here, Tony Amadeo is here, Daniel Camp is here, Jack Manning is here. They're all running for commissioner spots. Dr. Cheryl King is here, Donnelly Seipel, and Mike Romide. They are going to be asking the questions. First, I want to lay down the rules. The candidate that the question is asked gets 2 minutes, and each other candidate gets a 1 minute rebuttal or their time. This will go from 9 to 11. We will start with a 2-minute opening statement. And Mr. Taylor, if you would like to go first.
Thank you. Is that the camera? Hi, my name is Julian Taylor. I'm a veteran, a coach, a father, and a Beaver County resident. And I'm running to be your next Beaver County Commissioner. Reason why I'm running is because I love it here. I love Beaver County since the day I went to school, from high school to college to just being a coach. It's the place I grew up. It's the place I want to raise my family, and I'm running to try to make Beaver County better.
Thank you, sir. Next on the list, a 2-minute opening statement from candidate Tony Amadeo.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tony Amadeo. I am a Beaver County Commissioner. I've been blessed in my life with 2 careers. I was able to teach in Beaver County school system, actually the Center Area School District, for a total of 34 years, where I met many, many young people, elderly people, as well as many, many families. My second career that I was blessed with was the county commissioner's position. This is my 16th year as your county commissioner. I love being your county commissioner. Hopefully I will have the ability to get reelected on Tuesday and continue to be your county commissioner. I appreciate all the support I've gotten in the past, and I appreciate the support and vote that I hopefully will get by Tuesday.
You're listening to the candidate cast. It is a debate. Beaver County Commissioners Julian Taylor has spoken. You just heard Tony Amadeo with his 2 minutes. Mr. Daniel Camp, you're next, sir.
Thank you, Eddie. My name is Daniel Camp. I'm running for Beaver County Commissioner re-election. 8 years ago, I was in a seat like this asking for Beaver County to re-elect a individual who had no experience in county government. I learned very quickly that every day is a new adventure from one of my colleagues here to my right. We're really proud of the work we've done over the last 8 years. We are financially sound. The county is growing. And we really appreciate that you would come out and vote. I am a firm believer that if you get out and vote for any of us, the 4 people who are here today have the common good for Beaver County. And I am proud to say that no matter who you vote for, I know moving forward we will continue to grow and prosper. So on November 7th, I ask you to cast your vote for me. And I appreciate this forum, and I look forward to answering any questions.
Next up, 2 minutes with, Jack Manning, the only man that didn't make fun of me wearing a tie today.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, BBP, Beaver County Radio, St. Barnabas, for putting this on. We always appreciate this opportunity. For those of you that are watching or listening, I think my voice is somewhat familiar to you. I've been appearing on Ask the Commissioners, I think for 46 straight months now, something like that. I always look forward to the opportunity to speak to you folks through Beaver County Radio. I hope that over these last 4 years, I've earned your trust and respect. I know I poured 100% of everything I have into every day as being your commissioner. I'm proud to be up here with these folks. I've said before, I have great respect for anybody that goes through this process. It is not an easy, fun process to go through. And I wish all of the other candidates good luck, but I certainly hope that, again, my work ethic, my energy, my presence, my accessibility has earned your respect to be reelected as your county commissioner on November 7th. Thank you.
The commissioner candidates are Jack Manning, Daniel Camp, Julian Taylor, and Tony Amadeo. Candidate cast questions will be provided by Mike Romai, Donnelly Seipel, and Dr. Cheryl King. Dr. King will ask the first question after the break. It is sponsored by the Cornerstone of Beaver County. It is Candidate Cast on Beaver County Radio.
Hi, this is Ann Bacher with a message for all Ambridge voters. I'm inviting you to elect Ann Bacher, Jerome Gill, and Mike McCulich to Ambridge Borough Council on November 7th. We're running as a team across party lines, and we're bringing a proven record of transparency, integrity, and financial responsibility. This record is based on our life experiences and many years of community and local government service to the borough. More importantly, we are committed to continue to listen to and learn from all residents and business owners throughout Ambridge. We want to create a shared vision for Ambridge's third century starting in 2024. For more information on our team, check out AnnForAmbridge.com. That's ANNE, the number 4, Ambridge.com, and the links you'll find there. We look forward to serving you. This message has been paid for by the Coalition for Ann Bacher and the candidates. See you at the polls.
Now that the sights and sounds of summer are fading in your rearview mirror, there's still time to enjoy your classic car and turn heads this fall. Restore your cherished ride to its former glory and call Gnu's Body Works in Freedom. Gary Snare has been offering collision and restoration services for over 20 years. Everything from lowering or airbagging your rod or street custom to full custom color paint, Gnu's also handles collision and general repairs. Say hello to cooler weather with the hottest car around. Call Gnu's Body Works, 408th Street in Freedom.
Hi, I'm Maria Batista, candidate for the Pennsylvania Superior Court, asking for your vote on Tuesday, November 7th. As a former prosecutor, I held criminals accountable. As a judge, I will continue to uphold our criminal laws. I will keep politics out of the courtroom and ensure equal treatment under the law for all Pennsylvanians. I hope I can count on your vote for me, Maria Batista, for Superior Court on Tuesday, November 7th. This ad was paid for by Batista for Judge.
Each year, hundreds of individuals and families right here in Beaver County struggle with homelessness or housing-related crises. With the cold months ahead, that makes the struggle harder and more dangerous. That's why the Cornerstone of Beaver County, TCBC, is here to provide housing and basic needs, plus emergency shelter and support at its new 24-hour men's shelter. This shelter prepares, provides, and offers help to the homeless in Beaver County. If you or someone you know is facing homelessness, or if you'd like to get involved as a supporter, call TCBC 724-846-6400 or visit cornerstonebeaver.org.
This is Commissioner Jack Manning with a message to please remember to vote for me before you return your mail-in ballots or at the polls in person on November 7th. So when it comes to Parks and Recreation, that's been a high priority of mine for a long time. When I first came in, how do we redo the courts at Brady's Run? How do we maximize the beauty of Brush Creek and Economy Park and all the green space that we have in Beaver County? It's important to us, and if the pandemic taught us anything at all, it's how much people value the outdoors. And we want to make sure that we have the best assets possible. I can tell you, I talked to commissioners and tourism directors from around the area, and they're envious of what we have in Beaver County, our parks, our lakes, the rivers that run through here. So it's a high priority to me to have our parks and our recreation in the best condition possible. This message was paid for by the I Back Jack Committee campaign to re-elect Commissioner Jack Manning.
Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me, Dave Rodenbaugh, and my team at the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company. The full-service hot rod shop offers it all. Everything from custom fabrication and restoration to regular maintenance and collision repair. With over 40 years of experience, there isn't a job too big or too small. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company's enclosed trailer service ensures safe transit for your ride during any season. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company is located at 6th Street in Beaver Falls. Visit pahotrod.com or call 412-719-4950.
Hey Beaver County, this is Maria Wolf, and I am the Republican candidate for Register of Wills. I'm running to give you a choice, the right choice. I believe in God, family, country, and I believe in government that is accountable and accurate. I believe in our constitutional republic, and I believe in you. So let's take back Pennsylvania, starting right here in Beaver County. Let's do this right. I'm running for you, Beaver County, because you are important to me. I would appreciate your vote this Tuesday, November 7th. See you at the polls. And don't forget, vote Maria Wolf for Register of Wills, paid for by Friends of Maria Wolf.
Pete the Cat.
It is Teleforum. It is the candidate cast, sponsored by the Cornerstone of Beaver County. Everybody is here. All the candidates for commissioner: Julian Taylor, Tony Amadeo, Daniel Camp, Jack Manning. The questions are being asked by Donnelly Seipel and our own Mike Romine and Dr. Cheryl King. Let's go ahead and start. Dr. King, you can start, and we'll go right down the list. This should be for Mr. Jack Manning.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Manning, what do you feel is the biggest challenge of the Beaver County Commissioner's position?
The biggest challenge?
Yes.
That's a good question. There are multiple. I think the biggest challenge is being accessible and listening to all the different variety of segments of people that have a stake in Beaver County. It's hard sometimes for us to hear their voice. We have public meetings, very few people show up. We broadcast them on YouTube, very few people watch. So for me, to address that challenge, I have to be out in the public. I have to be proactive. I have to be out talking to various groups, various constituencies, so that I really understand the pulse of what's happening in Beaver County. And that's what I've done pretty much the last 4 years. You all have seen me around at different events, chamber events, Franklin Center events, because I think unless you really understand what's going on there, it's hard to get a pulse of what's important to people. That said, the other challenge is just managing the day-to-day operations. We're a pretty big entity, 840, 150 some employees with a lot of moving parts. And that's always a significant challenge for any organization, whether it's government or business.
Thank you. Mr. Camp.
Yeah, thank you very much. As Commissioner Manning said, we face multiple challenges every day. Because we act as the legislative and executive branch of government, because we're not home ruled, I think it's important, every day when the three of us and whoever's in the office at the time, managing the people inside the courthouse, as Commissioner Manning said, we have 800 plus employees. It's really important to know what's going on in day-to-day operations. And then on the other side is hearing the community. It's a challenge because until you do something that upsets someone, you don't really hear too much from the community. As long as things are moving smoothly, government's functioning efficiently, we don't get much input from our neighbors. So it's really important to get out, but I think the biggest challenge is definitely managing the courthouse on a day-to-day operation. It's a large entity, one of the bigger employers here in Beaver County. But at the end of the day, we are only as good as the people who work in the courthouse. We are a product of them. So as long as they are doing well, the county's doing well.
That's the 1 minute. That's the 1 minute rebuttal.
Thank you. Mr. Amadeo.
As Commissioner Camp alluded to in his introduction, I always say that every day is a new adventure in Beaver County. And it really is, because we deal with so many different kinds of situations. But because Beaver County is predominantly, well, I shouldn't say predominantly, but there's a very large elderly population, we have to come up with some system, either through the state who makes the county code, who writes the county code and passes it, find a way to help senior citizens pay their taxes. Because one of the day-to-day phone conversations just about every day that I get is senior citizens complaining that it's a struggle for them to pay their taxes. And there has to be some other manageable way to fund the government without crushing the senior citizens. So that's probably one of my biggest things. If there was a way to communicate, and my two counterparts on my left will tell you, I'm constantly.
Sorry.
Time's up. That's okay.
Good job, Ed.
Mr. Taylor.
I think I'm not a commissioner yet. Hopefully on Tuesday, if everybody votes for me, I can become one. So what I think one of the biggest challenges of Beaver County would be is the underserved communities, making sure that I can answer any question that they might have and let them understand that some things are county government, some things are state government, some things are federal government. I know all three of these commissioners get hit with questions that have nothing to do with what their job is. And that's probably very frustrating because they're getting the brunt of it because they're seeing a lot. So I think, like Mr. Manning said, being outside, being seen, helping our elderly community, and also just managing the people that work in the courthouse would probably be the most challenging things, as well as understanding every level of government.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. The next question will come from Donald E. Seipel. And Donald E., please, if you would, start with Dan Camp.
Sure. Commissioner Camp, what is your stance on the county reassessment? Do you plan on keeping the millage as low as possible once the assessment is finished? Or do you feel that the county should take advantage of the percentage allowed for fluctuation?
So I could, obviously my stance has been very well known over the last 8 years. When I took office in 2016, we were handed a lawsuit to the point where actually the lawsuit still stated the previous board. We had to get that changed. We had asked for that to change. We fought that all the way to the PA Supreme Court, and unfortunately we lost. Our law department did an outstanding job on explaining why we weren't ready for a reassessment, why we don't believe we needed one. Unfortunately, we lost. But as it comes for taxes, and I'm only going to speak for myself, we're in the budget process right now. We do have 500 appeals out there. I do believe we are going to be able to keep that millage rate to where it will be revenue neutral. Assessment neutral is what they're calling it now. We're able to do that because we're financially sound, and we were able to build our general fund budget balance. Probably, it's in our CAFR report we just read. It's at about $25 million. So we're able to hold that line, and we're proud of that work. One of the things I'm concerned about is those school boards, the school districts, and the municipalities. Are they going to be able to hold that line? Not only this year, but the years to come. I'm confident that no matter who takes the 3 seats on Tuesday, the Board of Commissioners will be able to hold that line for years to come as well.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yeah, Dan pretty much summed up all the information that we have on the reassessment. But we committed to be revenue neutral, and we're sticking to that. The only difference might be is if we lose a lot of the appeals, because there's a pot of money that we're dealing with. And if we need a little bit more, we may have to look elsewhere. But we've already committed not to raise taxes. Now, that doesn't mean that the other municipalities and school districts can't do that, but it has to be done by a separate motion. They have to go in a public meeting and, first of all, make a motion for the amount of revenue that they're raising under reassessment. And if they're going to raise it, they can go up to 10%, and that has to be a separate motion in front of the public. So you'll know, everybody, if your school district's going to go over and above the taxes that's been levied by the county.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, sure. I'm going to repeat the question for Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
What is your stance on the county reassessment? Do you plan on keeping the millage as low as possible once the assessment is finished, or do you feel the county should take advantage of the percentage allowed for fluctuation?
The county's not a business. We want to keep it as low as possible at all times. My grandma's 86 years old. She didn't work. My grandfather worked in the steel mill, and they rely on his income. They're on set income. So, and someone who lives on College Hill, we keep raising taxes. They're going to be taxed out of their house. So that's never a place that we want to do here in Beaver County, as well as we want to keep Beaver County livable. We want to drive new business. We want new younger people to come here and live, so we have to keep it low. But we also have a government to run, so we want to make sure that the budget is balanced. So I don't think anybody up here is going to say they want to raise taxes. That would be a bad look it's just a bad look here. So we want to keep it an affordable living place here in Beaver County.
Commissioner Manning?
Yeah, I think I'm well established on record, like the other guys, that we're not going to raise taxes. We have no reason to raise taxes. We do have essential services that the county needs to provide with the tax base that we have and the revenue that we're getting, and we can do that. The 911 center, the health, safety, behavioral health, human services that we provide that are essential services for every resident of Beaver County. I will say, everybody knows I inherited this. When I came in, it was already settled. We had to go through it. I think we've done the best job we possibly could in doing something that hadn't taken place for 40-some years. I would suggest, although I won't be around when the reassessment is done again as commissioner, since if I'm lucky enough to be reelected, this will be my second and last term. But I don't think we're going to have to wait 40 years again to do it. I think we need to do it much more frequent so we don't have to go through this pain. But the reason you don't do them more frequently is we had to leverage about $8 million. And I mean, they're not cheap things to go through, so that's why.
You're listening to the candidate cast. You trying to catch up with Mr. Amadeo with the beeps?
I was done. I'm not sure what Frank's doing over there with his bell. He's thinking about Pete the Cat or something over there.
Don't bring. I'm going to tell that story when this is over.
Okay.
The candidate cast is a debate. Julian Taylor, Tony Amadeo, Daniel Camp, and Jack Manning all running for county commissioners. The questions being asked by Dr. Cheryl King and Donnelly Seipel with the latest question. Mike Romide with his first question. After we take a break, the candidate cast is brought to you on Teleforum by the Cornerstone of Beaver County on Beaver County Radio.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect mostly sunny skies today with a high near 56 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. The Chippewa Township Fire Department was called to a vehicle fire at the Chippewa Walmart around 10:30 a.m. yesterday. Engine 22 and Squad 22-5 responded along with the Chippewa Fire Police. Automatic aid brought in engines 33 and 90 from Patterson Heights Volunteer Fire Department and Patterson Township Volunteer Fire Company. Arriving units found a working engine compartment fire on a car. Crews were on scene for around a half hour. It is not known at this time what caused the fire. The Pennsylvania Department of Health is alerting parents and caregivers of the Food and Drug Administration's recall and recommendation not to buy or feed Wanabana apple cinnamon fute puree pouches to children because the product may contain elevated lead levels. This includes all lot codes and expiration dates. The FDA has secured a voluntary recall from the manufacturer. The fute puree pouches are primarily white and green in color with a purple cap. Lead can be very harmful if ingested, especially for a young child, said Acting Secretary of Health Dr. Deborah Bogan. All families should have their children tested for lead exposure per CDC recommendations. Early identification of elevated lead levels can prevent the most serious effects, so all children can reach their full potential. A Pennsylvania nurse who allegedly gave lethal doses of insulin to numerous patients at healthcare facilities has been charged with additional crimes. 41-year-old Heather Presdy was initially charged in May with killing 2 nursing home patients. She was arraigned Thursday on new counts that include 2 more homicide charges. She is being held without bail at the Butler County Jail. Her lawyer says she's been cooperating with investigators. The latest charges allege mistreatment of 19 additional patients at 5 different care facilities since 2020. The state of Pennsylvania will work with a major natural gas producer to collect in-depth data on air emissions and water quality at well sites, enhance public disclosure of drilling chemicals, and expand buffer zones. Governor Josh Shapiro announced on Thursday that CNX Resources Corporation will partner with the State Department of Environmental Protection on environmental monitoring at 2 future well sites throughout all stages of the drilling and fracking process. The collaboration is an intensive data collection exercise that could be used to drive future policy changes. State officials are touting the partnership with CNX as the first of its kind. The reaction from environmental groups is mixed. Voters in Tuesday's general election in Pennsylvania will fill a vacant state Supreme Court seat that could play a significant role on voting-related cases during the 2024 presidential campaign. The court has a 4-2 Democratic majority, so the outcome of this race will not determine partisan control. But the seat could help Democrats or Republicans keep or gain control of the court when the next elections are held in 2025. In the meantime, the new justice could break any 3-3 ties on election-related cases that come up in the presidential race. Fans of hip-hop, country, pop, funk, R&B, and rock all have reason to cheer the 2023 class entering the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Missy Elliott, Kate Bush, Willie Nelson, Sheryl Crow, Chaka Khan, Soul Train creator Don Cornelius, and the late George Michael will be inducted into the hall tonight. The ceremony is also streaming live for the first time on Disney+. Also entering the hall are The Spinners, Rage Against the Machine, DJ Cole Herc, Link Ray, Al Cooper, and Elton John's longtime co-songwriter Bernie Taupin, 29 years after his writing partner.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect mostly sunny skies today with a high near 56 degrees. It'll be mostly cloudy tonight, going down to a low of 41. Isolated showers tomorrow with cloudy skies and a high near 54. Partly sunny Sunday with a high near 57. Partly sunny Monday, warming up to a high of 60. And a chance of rain Tuesday with mostly cloudy skies and a high of 60 degrees. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh for 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
AM 1230, WBVP, 99.3 FM. Teleforum rolls on this morning, a special edition of Teleforum. It's the Candidate Cast, the Beaver County Commissioners Candidates Debate, brought to you by the Cornerstone of Beaver County. I will reset things for you. Julian Taylor, Tony Amadeo, Daniel Camp, and Jack Manning are the candidates. The questioners, Dr. Cheryl King and Donnelly Seipel and Mike Roma. Here's how the rules work. The candidate gets asked a question. The candidate has 2 minutes to respond. Afterwards, each other candidate has a 1-minute rebuttal. And Mike Roma, I think you're up next with your question.
And my question is for Commissioner Amadeo. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Mike.
Everybody take a deep breath. I know we've got the first half hour under our breath. Everybody can relax a little bit. In the previous questioning, a lot of you talked about taxes and tax increases or keeping taxes at bay. One of the things about all our municipalities involves taxes. How would you feel about consolidation, whether it be police, first responders, or school districts? Because that takes a big chunk out of people's taxes. Tony?
Yes, the board's been a big proponent of consolidation, regionalization. When I was a teacher, I saw what happened with classes. When we start putting classes together for different schools, or maybe you went to one school, I don't want to mention names, but for example, a school that didn't offer physics or an upper advanced psychology class. And they were astute enough back then to pay for the bus trip that it required to drive a couple of miles to the next school district. It was a big money-saving event. And then as a township supervisor in Center for many, many years, we've learned, I remember back when the tornado came through and we sent all our equipment up to help Big Beaver Borough to help with the fire, the police, the dump trucks, the bulldozers, how we saved so much money back at that particular point that it's a good idea to do that. So I was a volunteer fireman this is my 53rd year, and we've learned through mutual aids how much money can be saved with fire departments helping one another, sharing services. So for example, Center Township doesn't have a tanker truck. And if we got a fire in the old trailer park that we had to get service from communities that had tankers. So we learned real quick that putting together regionalization, putting together different governments, fire departments, helping share services is a big money saver. And it would definitely save tax money. So yes, I'm absolutely for it.
Thank you. Julian?
I'm definitely for regionalization, mergers. Unpopular probably. Schools, you start worrying about tradition more than you worry about what's economically better for the children. If my child can go to a school that gives him more opportunities to graduate and learn something, and go into a field that's maybe not a college route, but maybe a vo-tech route, because this school can offer shop or something like that, I'm a firm believer of mergers and regionalization. We should use all of our resources to better educate our youth. So I'm in agreement with that.
Commissioner Jack Manning. Jack?
Yeah, same thing. 17 of our 53 municipalities have 700 or so or less in population. Most of them are on unsustainable paths. They can't even fill all the positions that are open. If they want to voluntarily come together, I think the economy of scale makes a whole lot of sense. For the municipalities, it's the same thing with what we're trying to do with the police departments. We've attended a lot of meetings on the regionalization there. These police departments can't afford to have enough full-time officers. We've addressed this issue with the 47 fire departments, 34 police departments. That economy of scale is important, helps keeps the taxes low, makes it affordable to live here and provide the services that are essential for people. So I'm always in favor when people voluntarily decide to regionalize and merge.
Commissioner Dan Camp. Dan?
Commissioner Manning said it best. I think this has to be something that the municipalities, their local government, wants to do. It's not for the Board of Commissioners, it's not for the district attorney, it's not for the sheriff to come in there. We could help facilitate those conversations. We could help facilitate the means. We did open a grant up for $250,000 up to $50,000 for regionalization. That's for police and fire, because we know there's a need out there. These individuals, municipalities can't sustain it. As we said, they're not having the individuals to volunteer as much anymore. But it has to be something they want to do. I don't think we're going to push it. Same as school districts. It's important. Julian and I graduated from Rochester, 60 plus people in a class. You're seeing that more and more. Commissioner Manning spearheaded this whenever he was at the chamber and the partnership. A merger of schools, I believe, is good. We want what's best for our children. Julie and I have young ones. Tony has grandchildren. Jack now has grandchildren, and in the community. We have to see what's best for the community. So I do believe it's good.
Thank you all.
It is candidate cast, and we're asking questions of the candidates for the Beaver County Commissioner's offices. Dr. Cheryl King, I believe you're next up with your question.
Okay, and this is for Mr. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am. I should have told you that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right.
How would you attract people to relocate to Beaver County?
Take them to Jerry's, of course. No, Beaver County, everybody up here loves it. Everybody up here loves Beaver County. So when you're talking to big business and you're telling them that we're open for business, you have to use the people. The people here, the traditions, the football, the affordability, the schools. You can sell them on small school sizes. You can sell them on big school sizes. We have a great demographic here, a great dynamic here. You have to tell them about the Maple Syrup Festival. You have to tell them about the Aliquippa Central Valley football game and how the news comes here. Beaver County is one of those places that is 10 minutes from Lawrence County and 24 miles away from Pittsburgh. How on Sunday everybody goes to church, but they're all home in time to watch the Steelers. You have to open up and show people that you love it here, and they'll love it too. So Beaver County is always one of those places that puts family first, puts work second, and is just a resilient place to live. So,
thank you. Mr. Manning.
Yeah, this is a tough thing to answer in 1 minute. But it's something I've been working on the whole time up here. And as somebody that chose Beaver County to live in 25 years ago, I can tell you it's the quality of life, it's the amenities that people see. It's the school systems. Where's my kid gonna get an education? And what jobs are available? I mean, it's all about all of those things. Housing you throw in there. Those are the kinds of things that people decide when they want to move into. And those are the kinds of things that retain people that have young families to make them stay here. So we have to concentrate on our housing, schools, jobs, and the quality of life. Unfortunately, the quality of life is different to everybody up here. Everybody in this room, you have a different vision of what that means. But that's why you have to really get out in public, understand what those amenities are, and accent them. Beaver County's got it all, and we keep working to improve them every day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Camp.
Absolutely. I think it's important, quality of life, affordable housing, and schools. Again, this is something that we don't oversee directly in a lot of times. In the school district, we could only hope that they want to do what's best for their community. But as we put our commissioner hats on, I think it's important that we continue to invest in that quality of life, the parks that we've invested in, the infrastructure for the aging infrastructure in our river towns. To be able to have affordable housing, we've got to be able to bring these developers in who want to invest in those communities, and they have to be able to have good infrastructure to build. We're looking at different projects in the New Sewickley area, which is right on the Butler County line next to Cranberry. They're looking to develop, and we have to be able to facilitate those conversations with these developers to be able to bring the jobs and the quality of life which follows whenever people move into Beaver County. So wearing the commissioner's hat, I think quality of life, schools, and our parks and recreation system is really important.
Thank you, Mr. Amadeo.
3 things: jobs, jobs, and jobs. That's what will attract people to Beaver County. And then once they get here, you have to be able to have amenities to keep them here. It's very, very important. When we opened up the jobs with the cracker plant, for example, a lot of people stayed here because of the amenities that we have here in Beaver County. I tell everybody there's no better place to raise your family than Beaver County. My children, when it was time for them to go to school, it wasn't what school they were going to go. It was what they want to be. And based on, if you're going to go into an area, do you want to stay here or do you want to move? And both of my children wanted to stay here. So I said, well, you can go in this area, or that area. And they did, and they're still here. Perfect example of that is Steeler Nation. People can't understand why people all over the country are so fired up about this. Oh, let me finish that.
Finish it, Steelers.
Thank you.
Batting 1,000. It is the candidate cast. The candidates for county commissioners: Tony Amadeo, Daniel Camp, Jack Manning, and Julian Taylor. The questions are being asked by Dr. Cheryl King and by Mike Romine. And the next question, and if my notes are right, it should be for Dan Camp, but we'll go with it. Donnelly Seipel, what's your question for Mr. Camp? Did I already mess it up?
Yeah.
See, this is
hear
why
the
I didn't
question
say
first,
anything
we'll
to you
decide.
earlier because I wasn't sure.
We'll flip a coin from there, so go.
Depending on what the question
I may
is.
punt.
It depends on the question. Yes. You
I might
can-
already need a minute.
Right of first refusal. The answer gets 2 minutes. Rebuttal from each candidate gets 1 minute. Go ahead and ask your question, if you would, please, ma'am.
Sure. Commissioner Camp.
She looked at you.
Commissioner Manning.
He's the tall, good-looking bald guy. I'm the shorter.
I'm so sorry. We were talking about infrastructure a little bit, so I'm going to pivot to this question. What do you see as the most pressing need for infrastructure
question for you
or
to
capital projects in the county?
Yeah, I mean, the jobs follow people, but they also follow where there are pad-ready sites for people to come. We have a lot of infrastructure that needs repair, bridges, roads, broadband. We've talked about this a lot over the last couple of years. The investment we're making in broadband is important part of infrastructure. Businesses coming in aren't building big office complexes anymore, parking people in those office complexes. There's a lot of remote work and the like. So the infrastructure around broadband, utilities, gas, sewer, water, things that Dan just mentioned before when it comes to housing developments, that's all stuff that needs to be in place. We're working with a lot of developers. We don't own much of this property that needs to be developed, hardly any of it. But so we have to work with those private developers to get that infrastructure shored up and repaired. A lot of brownfield redevelopment. Been working with a constituent to take an old brickyard in Darlington and restore it back into the condition it was years ago. There's a lot of brownfield and riverfront development that needs a lot of work here in Beaver County. And we work with developers, different organizations, the CED, different economic development folks, Pittsburgh Regional Alliance, to try and attract those businesses by having these pad-ready sites and market Beaver County what we have available.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Sure. What, Mr. Camp, what do you see as the most pressing need for infrastructure or capital projects in the county?
Yeah, Commissioner Manning really hit the nail on the head. He spoke on all the things that we're already doing. Lance Grable is our Director of Office of Planning and Redevelopment. He does a great job by identifying those brown sites and those pad-ready facility, the pad-ready land that's ready for development. As for the county, we have capital projects as commissioners as well. And we're trying to take care of those. We've done a project at the courthouse, Constellation Energy, when it comes to energy efficient. New concrete in the courthouse. We've had many trip and falls. It's an aging infrastructure at the courthouse as well. 20 plus years now the courthouse has been built. We're also investing in when we talk about quality of life, Brady's Run. We're putting water and sewer down Brady's Run to have restrooms and water now throughout the whole park. It's just an important. There's many things that we could list, but definitely continuing to invest in those riverfront properties because that's where really the downtown development's where we need to see infrastructure improved.
Commissioner Amadeo?
We as commissioners are just mere representatives of the people in Beaver County. And well over 10 years ago, we did a comprehensive plan. And in that comprehensive plan, our people from Beaver County wanted us to redevelop the river towns. And that's pretty much what we've done with this American Recovery money. We've given monies to the river towns that are up and down the Ohio River and the Beaver River, trying to bring them back. I mean, let's face it, the infrastructure there is over 130 years old. In some cases, a little bit older. The last, in Aliquippa, for example, when it went from Woodlawn to Aliquippa, the infrastructure was brand new because Jones and Laughlin built it. But it really hasn't been completely overdone since then. A lot of piecemeal, a lot of work. And that's the way it is at all the river towns because that's what they can afford to do. And rightly so. I mean, because...
Can I hear the question one more time? I'm so sorry.
Sure. Mr. Taylor, what do you see as the most pressing needs for infrastructure or capital projects in the county?
The most pressing needs in Beaver County to me are fixing our main streets of Beaver Falls, Aliquippa, and Midland, our underserved communities. We need to attract people to come here. There's more renters than there are home buyers in those areas, so we want to keep people in there. So we want to turn them from renters into home buyers so that they stay here, so that we can open up another house for another person to move here. If we focus on those areas that used to boom back in the 60s and 70s, we can grow our population and grow the population of Beaver County to want to stay here. It's important that we look at our underserved communities. Our underserved communities are always put last. They're not the main focus, and they need to become the main focus so that we can open up our economy and grow Beaver County's economy even bigger than what it already is. So the underserved communities are the main focus of any infrastructure project in my eyes, but I would love to hear the other commissioners' thoughts on that. That's my first one.
Yeah, I think it was your first one.
I'm going to hear that on my
One. It's the candidate cast. There's still plenty of time. Well, you can catch up if you want to.
I'm going to hear that tonight when I go to sleep.
It is the candidate cast. The candidates, Julian Taylor, Tony Amadeo, Daniel Camp, and Jack Manning, are all here being asked questions by Dr. Cheryl King and by Mike Romine and Donald Lee Seipel. It's a special edition of Teleforum. Thanks to the cornerstone of Beaver County, the questions and bells will continue after the news on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center in Midland presents Disney's Freaky Friday the Musical, one-act edition, November 10th through the 19th, part of the Clearview Federal Credit Union subscription series. For tickets, visit LincolnParkArts.org.
Good morning, Beaver County. My name is Julian Taylor, father, activist, veteran, and advocate, and I'm running to be your next Beaver County Commissioner. Beaver County is known for its river towns, steel mills, great football tradition, and a chicken fry and cheese from Jerry's Curb Service. Beaver County is also my home, a place I care about deeply, a place that I love, in a place that needs a little bit of change. On November 7th, I humbly ask you for your vote to bring equity for all, economic development, as well as returning a tradition of excellence to the Beaver County Courthouse. Let's build a coalition around Beaver County for all, as I believe in Beaver County, and I hope Beaver County believes in me. Paid for by friends of Julian Taylor.
Halloween is now behind us, but that doesn't stop Beaver Supermarket from advertising some of the best and lowest Monster Select meat specials located on 3rd Street, Beaver. This weekend, you could get Daly's Choice Fresh Frozen Uncooked Chicken Breast Nuggets, just 99 cents a pound, or natural bone-in pork butts for $1.99 a pound. For bacon lovers, USDA all-natural hardwood smoked bacon in 15-pound boxes for an unbelievable price of $2.50 per pound. While shopping, don't forget to check out the produce aisle for the finest quality and our produce specials. Every Tuesday, golden ripe bananas, just 39 cents a pound. Follow Beaver Super on Facebook to see all of the store specials, or take a cruise down to the one and only independently owned neighborhood grocery store in Beaver County, located on 3rd Street, Beaver. Hope to see you all.
Hey, Beaver County residents. This is Tracy Annaline Patton, your Beaver County Register of Wills, reminding you to get out and vote this coming Tuesday, November 7th. Your voice is important, and I would appreciate and respectfully ask you for your support of my reelection to continue my dedication and expertise as your Beaver County Register of Wills. Remember, experience matters. Vote Tracy Annaline Patton, Register of Wills. Paid for by Friends for Tracy Annaline Patton.
Now that the sights and sounds of summer are fading in your rearview mirror, there's still time to enjoy your classic car and turn heads this fall. Restore your cherished ride to its former glory and call Gnu's Body Works in Freedom. Gary Snare has been offering collision and restoration services for over 20 years. Everything from lowering or airbagging your rod or street custom to full custom color paint, Gnu's also handles collision and general repairs. Say hello to Kohler Weather with the hottest car around. Call Gnu's Body Works, 408th Street in Freedom.
Each year, hundreds of individuals and families right here in Beaver County struggle with homelessness or housing-related crises. With the cold months ahead, that makes the struggle harder and more dangerous. That's why the cornerstone of Beaver County, TCBC, is here to provide housing and basic needs, plus emergency shelter and support at its new 24-hour men's shelter. This shelter prepares, provides, and offers help to the homeless in Beaver County. If you or someone you know is facing homelessness, or if you'd like to get involved as a supporter, call TCBC 724-846-6400 or visit cornerstonebeaver.org.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBBP Beaver Falls.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Secretary of State Blinken has returned to Israel for talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Biden administration advocates a pause in Israel's Gaza offensive, but one Mideast expert says that would be a big mistake.
Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, Simone Ladine, says the administration's proposed humanitarian pause,
whatever it is they mean by that,
would only delay the inevitable, especially with a long-awaited Israeli ground offensive just getting underway.
Stopping anything right now will just drag everything on and actually result in a more intense humanitarian disaster, I think, at the end of the day.
Ladine says the most humanitarian thing to do now is to let the battle play out and come to a close as quickly as possible. Bob Agnew reporting.
As Israeli troops surround Gaza City, the White House says scores of U.S. citizens have managed to escape the war zone.
The National Security Council's John Kirby said those who evacuated were dual citizens.
As the president said, so far, 74 U.S. citizens and family members arrived on the Egyptian side.
Kirby said the administration hopes that additional U.S. citizens will be able to leave Gaza in the coming hours and days, and the pace of Americans who want to leave will now move at an accelerated pace. Greg Clugston, the White House.
The Republican-led House approves more than $14 billion in military aid for Israel. The money would come from additional funds set aside for the IRS. Democrats, though, say the bill is dead on arrival in the Senate, and President Biden has promised a veto should it reach his desk. Fallen cryptocurrency king Sam Bankman-Fried, convicted on all counts of fraud and conspiracy. It didn't take the Manhattan federal jury long to deliver the guilty verdict. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures 7 points higher. The NASDAQ futures are down 54 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Factor pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans while taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Barry, God has chosen you to have a son. The greatest story ever told is now an epic Christmas musical for the whole family.
I won the mother found.
You're in danger, Barry. Starring Fiona Paloma, Milo Manheim, Lecrae, Joel Smallbone, and Academy Award nominee Antonio Banderas.
This child, what is his name?
Jesus.
Journey to Bethlehem. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. In theaters everywhere November 10th. Soundtrack also available. Get tickets now at journeytobethlehem.com.
The U.S. targeting Russia with a new round of sanctions over its war in Ukraine.
The sanctions imposed by the Treasury Department on Thursday target 130 firms and individuals from China, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates. The parties are accused of helping Moscow in procuring equipment needed on the battlefield, and they include suppliers and shippers. The U.S. State Department also has imposed diplomatic sanctions targeting Russia energy production and its metals and mining sector. Donna Porter, Washington.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese will soon become the first Australian leader in 7 years to visit China in recognition of improving bilateral ties between the two countries. He arrives on Saturday in Shanghai and will later meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing. China had curbed diplomatic contacts in reaction to Australian national security laws. Townhall.com. An ally of New York City Mayor Eric Adams comes under federal scrutiny.
Agents raided the Brooklyn home of Brianna Suggs, a fundraiser and longtime confidant to Mayor Adams, who abruptly ditched a planned White House meeting and flew home from Washington. A spokesperson for the FBI confirmed that a court-authorized law enforcement action had been carried out. Neighbors said several people, some wearing FBI windbreakers, were seen entering Suggs' home. An attorney for the Adams campaign said the mayor was not contacted by authorities, that his campaign operates with the highest standards, and that it will comply with any inquiries. I'm Norman Hall.
Former President Trump is asking a federal appeals court to lift a gag order that restricts his speech about potential witnesses, prosecutors, and court personnel, a case accusing him of plotting to overturn the results of the election in 2020. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 95.7 and 99.3 FM. Along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMVA. And streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect mostly sunny skies today with a high near 56 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. The Chippewa Township Fire Department was called to a vehicle fire at the Chippewa Walmart around 10:30 a.m. yesterday. Engine 22 and Squad 22-5 responded along with the Chippewa Fire Police. Automatic aid brought in engines 33 and 90 from Patterson Heights Volunteer Fire Department and Patterson Township Volunteer Fire Company. Arriving units found a working engine compartment fire on a car. Crews were on scene for around a half hour. It is not known at this time what caused the fire. The Pennsylvania Department of Health is alerting parents and caregivers of the Food and Drug Administration's recall and recommendation not to buy or feed Wanabana apple cinnamon fute puree pouches to children because the product may contain elevated lead levels. This includes all lot codes and expiration dates. The FDA has secured a voluntary recall from the manufacturer. The fute puree pouches are primarily white and green in color with a purple cap. Lead can be very harmful if ingested, especially for a young child, said Acting Secretary of Health Dr. Deborah Bogan. All families should have their children tested for lead exposure per CDC recommendations. Early identification of elevated lead levels can prevent the most serious effects, so all children can reach their full potential. A Pennsylvania nurse who allegedly gave lethal doses of insulin to numerous patients at healthcare facilities has been charged with additional crimes. 41-year-old Heather Presdy was initially charged in May with killing 2 nursing home patients. She was arraigned Thursday on new counts that include 2 more homicide charges. She is being held without bail at the Butler County Jail. Her lawyer says she's been cooperating with investigators. The latest charges allege mistreatment of 19 additional patients at 5 different care facilities since 2020. The state of Pennsylvania will work with a major natural gas producer to collect in-depth data on air emissions and water quality at well sites, enhance public disclosure of drilling chemicals, and expand buffer zones. Governor Josh Shapiro announced on Thursday that CNX Resources Corporation will partner with the State Department of Environmental Protection on environmental monitoring at 2 future well sites throughout all stages of the drilling and fracking process. The collaboration is an intensive data collection exercise that could be used to drive future policy changes. State officials are touting the partnership with CNX as the first of its kind. The reaction from environmental groups is mixed. Voters in Tuesday's general election in Pennsylvania will fill a vacant state Supreme Court seat that could play a significant role on voting-related cases during the 2024 presidential campaign. The court has a 4-2 Democratic majority, so the outcome of this race will not determine partisan control. But the seat could help Democrats or Republicans keep or gain control of the court when the next elections are held in 2025. In the meantime, the new justice could break any 3-3 ties on election-related cases that come up in the presidential race. Fans of hip-hop, country, pop, funk, R&B, and rock all have reason to cheer the 2023 class entering the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Missy Elliott, Kate Bush, Willie Nelson, Sheryl Crow, Chaka Khan, Soul Train creator Don Cornelius, and the late George Michael will be inducted into the hall tonight. The ceremony is also streaming live for the first time on Disney+. Also entering the hall are The Spinners, Rage Against the Machine, DJ Cole Herc, Link Wray, Al Cooper, and Elton John's longtime co-songwriter Bernie Taupin, 29 years after his writing partner.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect mostly sunny skies today with a high near 56 degrees. It'll be mostly cloudy tonight, going down to a low of 41. Isolated showers tomorrow with cloudy skies and a high near 54. Partly sunny Sunday with a high near 57. Partly sunny Monday, warming up to a high of 60. And a chance of rain Tuesday with mostly cloudy skies and a high of 60 degrees. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh for 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com.
It is Teleforum. Today it's a special edition of Teleforum. My name is Eddie Crow. Today we're doing the candidate cast. Candidates for the county commissioner's offices. The election is Tuesday. Julian Taylor is here. Tony Amadeo is here. Daniel Camp and Jack Manning, both also here. The questions are being posed by Dr. Cheryl King and Donnelly Seipel and Mike Romide. The rules are as follows. The candidate that is asked the question gets 2 minutes to respond. Afterwards, every other candidate gets 1 minute of rebuttal. And I believe, Mike Romide, you are next. And I'm guessing it's Dan Camp, but I've screwed that up twice, so you do what you do.
Camp.
Commissioner Camp.
Yes.
I got it right.
All right, Dan. In the last segment, people were talking about quality of life and making Beaver County a more desirable place, attracting businesses and whatnot. As we look back and going forward from today, can you say that you're satisfied with what has happened with Shell, the cracker plant, and Shell Polymers as far as Beaver County? Is it everything that it was expected to be?
You know, it's a tough question. Thank you. On a daily basis, we get calls and emails. We just received one yesterday from the media for an inquiry regarding Shell's fines. Shell has been a good public-private partner to a lot of school districts and businesses in Beaver County. They brought a lot of employees in. I do believe that they're still in the startup phase. I can't, I don't talk to Shell on a daily basis, but I do believe that I expected more sooner, but I think this is a long-term game. I think, as Commissioner Medeo has always said, going up and down 376, the properties that are there all have options on them. There's a reason why nothing's being developed anywhere, because somebody's waiting to pull the trigger. I think we're going to see that in the next couple years once they get the full working down at Shell. I believe what they've done so far, other than their issues with the startup and the DEP and the EPA, they have been good for Beaver County. Again, we get calls every day about the emergency response plan, and we're just one layer of government. We're the third in line there. It goes from Shell to Potter Township to Beaver County. We could only inform our residents as quickly as possible whenever we get notified. But all in all, I do believe Shell's been a good public-private partnership. I think people were expecting more of the downstream jobs, what they call, sooner. But I do believe they're still coming. At the end of the day, what happened was a lot of individuals in Beaver County got trained for our laborers, our unions, our building trades. And we're going to be able to help put those people back to work in the southwestern PA. We talk about it at SPC all the time. We don't only root for Beaver County, of course we do, because we're the commissioners here, but if someone in southwestern PA is doing well, we're all doing well, because those individuals will go, our building trades will go across county lines and support those projects as well.
Commissioner Amadeo, let me remind you, you have 60 seconds.
Give them a 5-second delay.
The three of us sit on SPC, Daniel, the Southwest Planning Commission, and I was there at the very beginning when Shell approached us. Every county in Pennsylvania wanted a bite of that because they knew what the potential that was coming with that was the biggest construction thing since World War II. And just because it's taken us a little bit slower to get on task, get online, they're still trying to get some of the bugs out. And as Dan said, they're not producing yet where they can buy up all the materials that they need to produce and get what they need out. So because of that, the companies that have those 5-acre plots, 10-acre plots, 20-acre plots, they're sitting and waiting. It's watchful waiting right now. But once they go full production, then you're going to start seeing companies move in. Because I think without them, I don't know if we'd have been able to train all these young people that we're training in the trades.
You got that one.
Can you answer the question?
Yes, please.
Barely.
As talk continues about quality of life issues, making Beaver County a desirable place to live, can you say that you're satisfied with what has was come out of the Shell Polymer plant at this time? Is it everything you expected it to be?
It's a billion-dollar business. It shows that Beaver County is open for business and that we will take billion-dollar businesses to help us grow. So in that sense, yes. Do I feel that we could have a better working relationship, maybe know some things? That's something we can sit down and have. That's our neighbor. I mean, they're here. They're not going anywhere. We're not going to just get up and walk away. So we can build any relationship with that to make sure that that relationship with the county is a well-oiled machine. They're going to buy more. They're going to do more for the county soon, and we just got to wait that out. But I think Shell shows everybody around the world that, hey, look, we're open for business. We can have billion-dollar businesses come here, and we have the manpower now to operate these billion-dollar businesses.
Mr. Manning.
Mike, it's no secret I worked inside those fence lines for 35 some years. I have great respect and admiration for the people there. They are working hard to earn a living for their families and help their communities better, all employees, the indirect and the direct employees that they have. Am I pleased with their operation so far and the permit violations? No, nobody's happy with that. Do I want them to get better? Yes. Are they getting better? I believe they are. They're sorting things out and getting better. I will say, from an indirect standpoint, Shell put us on the map. They got us through the pandemic with the people that they had in, contributing to the economy the way they did by having 8,000 construction workers here. I'm a big advocate of the building trades. Happy to have been endorsed by the Beaver County Building Trades, something I wasn't expected, but they know my support for that industry and those kinds of workers in the building trades that make that thing run. I have great faith, confidence that they're going to sort things out and be within their permit limits in the near future.
It is the candidate cast brought to you by the Cornerstone of Beaver County. Julian Taylor, Tony Amadeo, Daniel Camp, and Jack Manning are all here. Donnelly Seipel is asking the questions, as is Mike Romine. As next, Dr. Cheryl King with your question. And I'm taking a shot in the dark. Is it for Tony?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm back on track. All right.
In what direction would you like to see the county proceed technologically?
Technologically?
Yes.
In respect to what, though?
I mean, someone mentioned when we were at the FAS at the meet and greet, they said, hey, the courthouse just hardly got email like a few years ago, so we're talking about...
Yeah, that's not true.
That was not true.
Yeah, the courthouse has had emails for a long time. We have a great IT department. Kevin Tussick is our IT manager, and he's just phenomenal. All we do is give him a call, because when you're 72 years old, you're not the most averse at using computers and sending out different mass texts, where he would come in and just fix it up right away. Now, we've got a very good department, and I'm more than satisfied on how we do it. And I have someone in my family that's really involved in that on a higher level, and he tells me that the system that the county uses right now is very, very good. So as far as technology in county government, no, we're fine. We're exactly where we were. I don't know where that statement came from about emails. I can't remember who said that, but no, that wasn't true. That's not true.
Oh, no. Thank
No
you.
dig. No dig that time.
Mr. Taylor, in what direction would you like to see the county proceed technologically?
I will have to disagree with Mr. Amadeo. I actually believe we are about 10 to 15 years behind. Technology is everything. We need to be ready for the curve. We need more tech jobs. We need more AI. We need more professional jobs in that field. We need to start looking in that direction. Also with the county, more media, more news outlets. This is a great forum. I appreciate it. I bet everybody here still wants to grow this into a bigger tech thing that we can use. The county can use more of the social medias. Contact the younger people. Let them know you can get a dog license through TikTok or social or Snapchat and everything. Use everything to our advantage to make sure that we grow our county. Technology is the wave, and we have to be on the right side of it. And I think we're actually 10, 15 years behind on that, my opinion.
Thank you. Mr.
Well,
Mann.
as far as the technology in the county government, I think we have a state-of-the-art 911 center. We have a lot of technology upgrades that we brought into the courthouse in the last 4 years, and even beside that, Tony just mentioned Kevin Tussick. We're on top of cybersecurity and all those issues that come with high-tech. What I struggle with, and what I think we struggle with, is competing with Pittsburgh to be a tech center. We've tried to provide some jobs here. Astrobotics, some different people have moved in, but tech jobs are a very small part of our overall diverse economy, and we struggle being between Cleveland and Pittsburgh to get those jobs to come into Beaver County, because they tend to be university-centric jobs, and none of our colleges really thrive on tech careers. So if Geneva, Penn State, Beaver, and CCBC start to do more of that, we may find more of those jobs coming to Beaver County. But otherwise, CMU, Pitt, they've cornered the market for the high-tech jobs, and that's why you see those things going to Pittsburgh.
Thank you. Mr. Camp.
Yeah, inside the courthouse, we can't speak any more highly of our IT department. It's a very large facility with many outbuildings that they're in charge of. We're continuing to grow daily on our IT side of things. I think in regards to other elected officials, they have some IT issues. They're trying to upgrade their systems, and that's one of the things I think that was talked about at the chamber event. not too long ago. The Pathonetary's office, for instance, they want to do more data filing rather than paper filing. So it's things we're looking into, and we're willing to invest as long as it makes sense. But again, there's layers of government. For that to be approved, the courts have to be okay with that. The AOPC has to be okay with that. As for Beaver County as a whole, it's really important. Don't want to keep going back to SPC, the Southwest Planning Commission, but we talk about data hubs all the time. Why didn't the county get a hydrogen hub? Why didn't the county get a data hub? And it is because of the universities that they're really close to. It's hard to pull from.
Welcome to my world.
Thank you, Mr. Camp, and thank you, Dr. King. The questions will continue after the break. The candidate cast today on Teleforum is being brought to you by the Cornerstone of Beaver County. Next up will be Mike Romide on Teleforum.
Hi, this is Ann Bacher with a message for all Ambridge voters. I'm inviting you to elect Ann Bacher, Jerome Gill, and Mike McCulich to Ambridge Borough Council on November 7th. We're running as a team across party lines, and we're bringing a proven record of transparency, integrity, and financial responsibility. This record is based on our life experiences and many years of community and local government service to the borough. More importantly, we are committed to continue to listen to and learn from all residents and business owners throughout Ambridge. We want to create a shared vision for Ambridge's third century starting in 2024. For more information on our team, check out AnnForAmbridge.com. That's ANNE, the number 4, Ambridge.com, and the links you'll find there. We look forward to serving you. This message has been paid for by the Coalition for Ann Bacher and the candidates. See you at the polls.
This is Commissioner Jack Manning with a message to please remember to vote for me before you return your mail-in ballots or at the polls in person on November 7th. So when it comes to Parks and Recreation, that's been a high priority of mine for a long time. When I first came in, how do we redo the courts at Brady's Run? How do we maximize the beauty of Brush Creek and Economy Park and all the green space that we have in Beaver County? It's important to us. And if the pandemic taught us anything at all, it's how much people value the outdoors. And we want to make sure that we have the best assets possible. I can tell you, I talked to commissioners and tourism directors from around the area, and they're envious of what we have in Beaver County, our parks, our lakes, the rivers that run through here. So it's a high priority to me to have our parks and our recreation in the best condition possible. This message was paid for by the I Back Jack Committee campaign to re-elect Commissioner Jack Manning.
Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me, Dave Rodenbaugh, and my team at the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company. The full-service hot rod shop offers it all. Everything from custom fabrication and restoration to regular maintenance and collision repair. With over 40 years of experience, there isn't a job too big or too small. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company's enclosed trailer service ensures safe transit for your ride during any season. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company is located at 6th Street in Beaver Falls. Visit pahotrod.com or call 412-719-4950.
This is Attorney Nate Bible, and I am running to become your next district attorney here in Beaver County. I have real trial experience handling hundreds of criminal cases. The district attorney's office works side by side with law enforcement, and I am the only candidate endorsed by the police. The police are sending a message to the voters that they are ready for change. I am also endorsed by over 25 trade and labor unions. As a lifelong resident of Beaver County, I am ready to serve as your next DA. Vote Nate Bible for DA on November 7th. Paid for by Nate Bible for DA.
Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center in Midland presents Disney's Freaky Friday the Musical, one-act edition, November 10th through the 19th, part of the Clearview Federal Credit Union subscription series. For tickets, visit LincolnParkArts.org.
Now that the sights and sounds of summer are fading in your rearview mirror, there's still time to enjoy your classic car and turn heads this fall. Restore your cherished ride to its former glory and call Ganew's Body Works in Freedom. Gary Snare has been offering collision and restoration services for over 20 years. Everything from lowering or airbagging your rod or street custom to full custom color paint, Ganew's also handles collision and general repairs. Say hello to cooler weather with the hottest car around. Call Ganew's Body Works, 408th Street in Freedom.
This is District Attorney David Lozier. I'm running for re-election. I've worked for 8 years to support the police with a maximum training, and equipment necessary to keep you safe. I created the Special Victims Unit to better investigate and prosecute sex crimes and crimes against children. We've worked to maximize the jail sentences for illegal firearms and for drug dealers. This ad is paid for by Citizens for David J. Lozier. See you at the polls on November 7th.
Hi, I'm Maria Batista, candidate for the Pennsylvania Superior Court, asking for your vote on Tuesday, November 7th. As a former prosecutor, I held criminals accountable. As a judge, I will continue to uphold our criminal laws. I will keep politics out of the courtroom and ensure equal treatment under the law for all Pennsylvanians. I hope I can count on your vote for me, Maria Batista, for Superior Court on Tuesday, November 7th. This ad was paid for by Batista for Judge.
Each year, hundreds of individuals and families right here in Beaver County struggle with homelessness or housing-related crises. With the cold months ahead, that makes the struggle harder and more dangerous. That's why the cornerstone of Beaver County, TCBC, is here to provide housing and basic needs, plus emergency shelter and support at its new 24-hour men's shelter. This shelter prepares, provides, and offers help to the homeless in Beaver County. If you or someone you know is facing homelessness, or if you'd like to get involved as a supporter, call TCBC 724-846-6400 or visit cornerstonebeaver.org.
Okay.
They were in the same.
Tony, okay.
Oh, you're coming to meet, right?
My notes are right. It doesn't matter if I can't read them.
Thank you.
So it was the senator.
You want us to start back up, I'm guessing? It is Teleforum. We have more conversations when the debate's not going on. We're going to tape some of that, arguing about children's books. This is the cornerstone of Beaver County. Thank you to them for sponsoring the Candidate Cast. Julian Taylor, candidate. Tony Amadeo, candidate. Daniel Camp, candidate. Jack Manning, candidate. Dr. Cheryl King is asking the questions, as is Mike Romine. Donnelly Seipel also. Donnelly, you've got your question next.
Thank you. This is for Mr. Taylor.
Thank you.
What is your experience with preparing and authorizing budgets?
So, preparing and authorizing budgets, I was in the military. I was in charge of CWIS and in charge of some of the more weapons part of the military. And when you do that, you have a huge budget. A missile on a Navy warship, it's about $1.3 million on average. And you have to account for all of those. So those little amenities and things like that on the ship, how much you need for ammo, how much of these things, how much you need to buy and make sure you have for deployment, it's a big budget. It's a $1 billion warship. So that's where I learned how to calculate, make sure I have here, rob Peter to pay Paul here in the military is what we called it, or make a drug deal with another department to make sure we have enough to get through a deployment. So I've seen a budget of that, realm. I don't like talking about the military. It's not a thing that I like to talk about, but that's where a lot of my experience does come from. I like to talk about the good things of the people that I met and all that, and some of the deployments I went on and some of the places I've been, but like my job is something that it's not something I like to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I do have experience in budgets in that way, and also there's nobody up here that's going to let me fail. Mm-hmm. Let's get that straight. Yeah, we all are jockeying for 3 positions, and there's 4 of us, but the other 2 are going to help me if I'm in, or the other 3 will get it done. I have faith in that. The county's been running pretty smooth, but I think there's other things that I bring to the table for this job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I probably have the most diverse experience in budgets of anybody up here. When I was director of manufacturing, I oversaw 3 plants. We had about $100 million of combined budgeting that I was responsible for. I've run nonprofits and obviously was responsible for the budget of that. Ran my own business, was responsible for my budget there. And then 4 years in county government working with these gentlemen to do a budget there. I take issue with some people that say that government's not the same as a business. The principles are the same. A business exists to serve a customer, and you have a budget that allows you to stay in business by serving that customer. Government exists to serve the public, and that's what we're here for. And we need the budget that's appropriate to do that. The principle is the same. Headcount's important. You control your headcount, you control your costs. You look at your revenue, you take how much revenue you have and which you can afford in terms of services. Principles are all the same between government and business, and I use that business experience and business background to ensure we're doing the same thing at the county level.
Thank you. Commissioner Camp?
Yeah, thank you. Obviously, the last 7 years is the most experience I have in regards to operating a 68 million plus operating budget plus a $250 million governmental budget. But you know, as Julian said, you know, I was in his seat 8 years ago. There's no one's going to let anyone fail. We have people in those positions who help prepare and present the budget, who are certified CPAs, and help and make the recommendations to the board, who ultimately then goes on and votes for that budget. You know, it's, you know, prior to that, I had a small business owner. I worked for a logistics trucking company who had to prepare a budget for a department. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm a realist. You know, we're not there crunching numbers every day. There's individuals who do that. We're only as good as they are, and they do that. As for our department heads and other elected officials, they do prepare those budgets, and they prepare them and present them to us. So it's something we have to do as a team.
Thank you. Commissioner Amadeo?
Before Dan got dinged, I was trying to think back, you know, what my experience. I have 42 years of budgetary experience. I started out as a department head as a social study department in Center High School. And then I became a fire marshal. I had to do a budget there. I'm talking late 70s, early 80s. From there, I got elected Center Township Supervisor, where I worked on, I was the chairman for 8 years. I worked on a $5 million budget at that point. I can't remember what it was when I left and became a commissioner. And 16 years as a county commissioner. We started out low, but I think the budget we did, or what we're working on, is $255 million. So I do think I have enough experience. Fortunately for us, we now have a professional that does most of the work for us. It makes it easier on us because we're not doing line item by line.
Line item.
You had it. You had it.
You almost.
It was right there.
Almost.
Just, okay. Donnelly Seipel, thank you for the question. Questions being provided today on the candidate cast. I was rooting for you, Tom. I said he can hit 1,000 today.
But you have to notice, I haven't been using my hands because I'm half Italian, which means I speak with one hand.
Okay.
But I've been holding them down.
Donnelly Seipel, the next question from Mike Romite. If it's about hands, I know something's up. Your question for the candidate, Jack Manning.
Yes.
Yes, I got one right.
Since we're on the topic of budgets and money, a pandemic hit Beaver County just as every municipality in the United States hard. Businesses suffered, employees suffered, governments and nonprofits suffered. But now that it's more or less over, Beaver County being a pass-through have a pass-through program, federal government, state government, and then down to the county level. So there was a lot of COVID money that has come into Beaver County. And it was up to the commissioners to pass that out to whoever. That's basically the question. The COVID money, how much came into the county? Who is responsible for doling it out? And what kind of accountability or tracking was used? And could you tell the taxpayers of Beaver County that it's money that's been well spent?
Yeah, absolutely. With the American Rescue Plan Act, we got about $92.5 million that came into the county. And that's the biggest chunk that we have. We got some CARES Act during COVID that went to distressed businesses that was well documented. Matter of fact, the controller has everything online that people can see where we've earmarked money. Money hasn't necessarily been consumed yet, but we broke it down into 5 different buckets that we were trying to do. The infrastructure, broadband that we've talked about, public safety, the radios and the things that we provided to people, that's all been through that. Infrastructure, we asked every municipality to submit infrastructure issues that they had. It was going to be a 20% match. In some cases, we earmarked 15 or 20 million the first time, and we got like $63 million worth of submissions. We went through, did a proportion to population stipend, allocated that money to those municipalities. Now they're in the process of working on those, and as they're working on those, they submit the invoices, we reimburse them for that towards the amount that's been allotted to them. We also set aside $60 million for disproportionately impacted communities. So anybody that's in the census tract that shows that their poverty level, the HUD criteria for that, I believe there's 11 of those municipalities, $16 million went to them. So some extra money on top of the other infrastructure money that we did is going back into those distressed communities that were harder hit by COVID than some others. So it's all documented, it's all online. We've been very public about where that money's going. We're very proud of the fact that compared to some other counties, we could have retained up to half of that money just by the way that the bill was written. 80 to 90% of what we have doled out is going back into the community. We're only getting about 10% ourselves.
Commissioner Camp.
Yeah, Commissioner Manning talked about most of it, and we are proud of the work that's done. Before the ARP dollars, he mentioned the CARES Act. We actually decided to run that through the community CED, Beaver County CED, Lou Vellotti and his group. They were the ones who accepted application and spent the $20 million that we got previous, because we wanted it to be a non-biased. We felt that was most, and the law stated that an economic development authority of that type can distribute the monies. We invested that all back into the businesses who needed that through the COVID. Once we got the ARP dollars, we sat down and we made the decision right away that even though the federal law says that we could keep almost 50% of it due to their calculations, we want to make sure we invest that back into the communities. Everything he said, we put it into broadband infrastructure, nonprofits, businesses, and mostly, back into disproportionately impacted communities. One thing is, I know I'm running out of time, but we need to make sure these communities submit those because we are on a deadline to spend that money.
That was the next step, I guess, is that can you follow up and say, Monaca Center, Beaver Falls, Aliquippa, did you spend this appropriately? Can we gauge that?
Well, it's all been allocated. Until they turn in the receipts for the American Rescue Recovery money, they're not getting that money. And we're going to there's deadlines because the law has deadlines. And once we get those to the point where we're getting close, we have the right to reallocate that money. But no, I think we did a really good job because in all three cases, rental, CARES, American Recovery, the whole objective by the federal government was to help people that needed the help the most. And I'm pretty proud that we pretty much helped as many people as we possibly could have helped. We were very, very good at that, staying on top of it. And I would have questioned even less because it's voluntary compliance, just like when you do your income taxes. You put the numbers down. If the numbers are wrong, it's on you. It's not on the government. It's not like a lot of other government agencies like HUD. If the county, I'm talking with two hands too, and I get stopped.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, about the COVID money that came into the county. Was it, where did it go? How do you keep track of it? Is there accountability and tracking for the funds that have come in?
Yeah, they tracked it, and it's online. How do I feel about it? Is that what you're asking me?
Well, basically how it was spent. And when government money comes into any community, people say, okay, now who's responsible to say you spent that well or you were a good steward of the taxpayers' dollars?
Yeah, they were. There's no ill will up here. I wasn't there. So do I feel... I'm going to have to answer this question a little different. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
I wasn't there. Do I feel like they did a great job? Yes. Thank you for all the money that we got back from the government because it is our money. It's our tax dollars. Do I feel that it could have been spent in different areas? Yes. Do I feel that true and proper, how the money came in, why it was here, why we got such a large amount? Did I feel like some of our underserved communities should have got more? In my eyes, yes. Did underserved communities get some? Yes, but I do feel they should have got a bigger piece of the big pie. That's it.
Okay.
You're listening to
I
the
was not.
Candidate Cast, brought to you by the Cornerstone of Beaver County on Teleforum today. Questions to county commissioner candidates. Next up, Dr. Cheryl King will be asking a question of Dan Camp.
Mr. Camp, how will you, as a commissioner, attempt to bridge the political divides that plague our government?
So it's a tough question. I don't think that we have a political divide inside the courthouse. So I'm proud to say that. I think the three commissioners work together. The three commissioners who are elected on November 7th will ultimately work together for the common good of Beaver County. We definitely have a political divide on the federal level, even the state level. And it's unfortunate because they should be doing the same things that we do. And I understand their issues are different. They're making laws where we're running budgets and trying to bring jobs and communities together here in Beaver County. I believe that party lines in county government, I don't even think there should be party lines in county government. I think we should be running as an individual. And I'm a firm believer that we're doing a good job. That's really what I have to say to that. I don't think we have a divide here in Beaver County, even on the state level. Our state legislators work together. Representative Matsey, Representative Kale, Representative Marshall. When they get in Harrisburg, they do go to party lines, and it's unfortunate. But whenever they're here working together, they work for the common good.
Thank you. Mr. Amadeo?
When people try to engage me in that conversation, my usual answer is it's above my pay grade. And because the mess that's in Washington, the mess that's in Harrisburg, isn't the way it is in Beaver County. Beaver County, we work together. Sometimes I think I'm probably one of the most conservative members on the board, even though I'm a Democrat. But the politics that exists on the federal level and state level is actually unconscionable, because the whole responsibility of government is to help the people. It's the government of the people, by the people, for the people. They should at least get along with the people. We do that. We work together. We don't look at anything politically when we make a decision. It's done because for the good of the county. And we've been operating that way the last 4 years for sure.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor?
Just a federal problem. It's not a Beaver County problem. Everybody knows I blocked for Danny, who was a quarterback, QB8. So Mr. Jack, I seen him out. I was with my son, and we were getting something to eat. Mr. Jack made sure Nemo got some free pancakes that day. Tony, Nico, his son, grandson, sorry, not your son, one of the best quarterbacks in the Mighty Might division over there at Hopewell. So we don't have that. And it's not like, I think the more energy we give it in these, it will become that. So we don't have it. It's just not here at that level. I believe for the greater good, we all work together because Beaver County is small. Everybody knows everybody. Like, I just found out I coached Mr. Mike's grandson. So, like, Beaver County is small. You find something out new every day. So you can't have those kind of hard line divides. Now, at the national level, that's a whole different... We'll see what happens next year. So,
Manny.
Yeah, I've talked about this a lot, and obviously they've stated the case well. I think at Beaver County level, somehow we haven't gotten quite as mired. Some of our surrounding counties have had some pretty tough runs here the last couple of months. But I've talked about the trust deficit that exists in our country, and it's not just with the political parties. It's against institutions that we used to revere and believe in. People are undermining that trust, and I believe the only way you can decrease that trust gap is to be present, be out there, be talking to people. So I like to say I go where I'm invited and some places where I'm not. And I'll insert myself in conversations with people that I may have nothing in common with at all, but we'll eventually find some common ground, because at the end of the day, we're all Beaver Countyans, and we want what's best for Beaver County. And that's what it's all about. That's why we serve. We are public servants to serve Beaver County. We don't make political decisions. I've never made a decision based on politics. It's what's the right thing to do for the people of Beaver County.
Thank you.
Dr. King, thank you. Commissioner candidates, thank you. More questions after the break. It is the Candidate Cast edition of Teleforum, brought to you by the Cornerstone of Beaver County. I want to say thank you to Al's Pizza. We're getting pizza after this. So we got that going for us. Mike Romite's question will come after the break on Beaver County Radio.
Halloween is now behind us, but that doesn't stop Beaver Supermarket from advertising some of the best and lowest Monster Select meat specials located on 3rd Street, Beaver. This weekend, you could get Daly's Choice Fresh Frozen Uncooked Chicken Breast Nuggets, just 99 cents a pound, or natural bone-in pork butts for $1.99 a pound. For bacon lovers, USDA all-natural hardwood smoked bacon in 15-pound boxes for an unbelievable price of $2.50 per pound. While shopping, don't forget to check out the produce aisle for the finest quality and our produce specials. Every Tuesday, golden ripe bananas, just 39 cents a pound. Follow Beaver Super on Facebook to see all of the store specials, or take a cruise down to the one and only independently owned neighborhood grocery store in Beaver County, located on 3rd Street, Beaver. Hope to see you all.
Has your classic car or hot rod seen better days? Just call me, Dave Rodenbaugh, and my team at the Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company. The full-service hot rod shop offers it all. Everything from custom fabrication and restoration to regular maintenance and collision repair. With over 40 years of experience, there isn't a job too big or too small. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company's enclosed trailer service ensures safe transit for your ride during any season. The Pennsylvania Hot Rod Company is located at 6th Street in Beaver Falls. Visit pahotrod.com or call 412-719-4950.
Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center in Midland presents Disney's Freaky Friday the Musical, one-act edition, November 10th through the 19th, part of the Clearview Federal Credit Union subscription series. For tickets, visit LincolnParkArts.org.
Now that the sights and sounds of summer are fading in your rearview mirror, there's still time to enjoy your classic car and turn heads this fall. Restore your cherished ride to its former glory and call Ganew's Body Works in Freedom. Gary Snare has been offering collision and restoration services for over 20 years. Everything from lowering or airbagging your rod or street custom to full custom color paint, Ganew's also handles collision and general repairs. Say hello to cooler weather with the hottest car around. Call Ganew's Body Works, 408th Street in Freedom.
Each year, hundreds of individuals and families right here in Beaver County struggle with homelessness or housing-related crises. With the cold months ahead, that makes the struggle harder and more dangerous. That's why the Cornerstone of Beaver County, TCBC, is here to provide housing and basic needs, plus emergency shelter and support at its new 24-hour men's shelter. This shelter prepares, provides, and offers help to the homeless in Beaver County. If you or someone you know is facing homelessness, or if you'd like to get involved as a supporter, call TCBC 724-846-6400 or visit cornerstonebeaver.org.
It is Teleforum. It is the candidate cast today.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the Cornerstone of Beaver County. Questions being asked of County Commissioner candidates Julian Taylor, Tony Amadeo, Daniel Camp, and Jack Manning. They're being asked by Dr. Cheryl King and Mike Romide. And the next question from Donald E. Seipel for Tony Amadeo, I believe.
Yep.
That would be me.
Commissioner Amadeo, what policy changes or investments are necessary to encourage a broader workforce?
A broader workforce. Well, we're pretty much involved with our workforce, diversity-wise. We try to hire the most qualified candidate we possibly can. We probably need to raise up our lower incoming rate to attract and keep a broader group of employees. People are always moving, transferring, trying to get raises, and that's natural. But I don't know what the answer is, other than doing what we possibly can do to make sure that everybody has an equal shot at a job, as long as you're qualified. It's changed substantially from the olden days where it was the most qualified relative, I think, was the motto. And today we've been actually for the last 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, we've been hiring the most qualified candidate for the positions. It didn't matter who you're related to, who you were tied to. It's just, can you do the job? And so I think we've done a good job in the last 4 to 8 years.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Mr. Taylor?
Can you repeat it one more time, please?
Sure. What policy changes or investments are necessary to encourage a broader workforce?
So for the county, I think one of our biggest investments is we need to make sure we look into tech, pharmaceuticals, and manufacturing to grow our workforce here in Beaver County to help grow your economy. I know Pittsburgh is a hub, but they're eventually going to run out of room. And like I said earlier, we are very close to Pittsburgh. We can suck some of that business down here to help keep our economy stable and also to bring new jobs here. The goal is to grow Beaver County, and we have to start poaching and trying to steal all the pharmaceuticals, AI, tech, and manufacturing jobs we can to make sure we have somewhere for our children to come back and work. So it's a big investment I think we need to make into our county.
Commissioner Manning?
Well, I'm still not sure I understand the context of the question.
Oh, did I?
Internally, I've been
I'm sorry.
Internally in the county, I'll answer two parts.
Yeah.
I've been disappointed with our nepotism policy. Nepotism policy only applies to the commissioners. I can assure you that I have no family, friends, or relatives that work in county government. But I do think we could shore up the nepotism policy within the courthouse as a policy change. Outside the courthouse, in terms of diversifying our economy and attracting different people, different types of people, the biggest opportunities we have are still tourism, arts, and entertainment. That's an area that's growing. Believe it or not, hospitality is the biggest growing segment. Our hospitality jobs are at a higher wage than surrounding counties. So there's good jobs, good availability, good chance to broaden our economy by focusing on more tourism, more arts, entertainment, events, and those kinds of things.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Camp.
thank you. I'll try to answer this in a two-part question, as Commissioner Manning did, and relate back to what Commissioner Amadeo said. Is, to be able to retain people inside the courthouse, our starting wages, and we talk about this whenever we have 9 different collective bargaining agreements, 9 different unions inside the courthouse. We've looked at raising those rates, whether it's for the jail correction officers, but at the end of the day, those get shot down because the higher seniority people don't want to raise the starting rate because they didn't come in at that starting rate. So it's a battle. It's something we have to work on. We're continuing to invest in training for all of our employees. If they want to do training, whether it's conferences or online seminars, we make sure that we promote that and we support it. For the county, I think we have to continue to invest in our CTC, career technology, MITCS, the building trades. We're all supporters of the building trades because we know that's what the bread and butter of Beaver County is. If you don't, we need to make our high school students feel comfortable. If they don't want to go to college, there's another opportunity and avenue for them. So we could help support that. Whether it's financially, it kind of steps outside of what we do as commissioners, but we have to make sure we support those ways.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for the question, ladies and gentlemen. The cornerstone of Beaver County, the reason that we're bringing you Candidate Cast. Each candidate will have 1 minute for a final statement. That comes after the last question. Mike Romide will ask that last question.
Thank you, Eddie. I'm not a mathematician, but I can do basic math. I can see 4 chairs, 4 candidates. There are 3 seats on the Board of Commissioners in Beaver County. So one of you gentlemen is going to be the odd man out. I'm going to veer from the text and ask, if you want to be elected on Tuesday, you've got to show a difference between you and the other candidates. Julian Taylor, I believe the question goes to you first. What differentiates you from these other candidates? Why should the voters of Beaver County vote for you over the other 3?
Some of the differences is I'm more, I think, nothing against any of them, but I think I'm more youth-driven. I am a coach. I'm also a veteran, and I see things through a different lens here. Some things that happen in Beaver County get looked at a different way. And I think I bring that way of looking to the Board of Commissioners. I'm not going to say I know everything. I won't say that. But I do see a lot of things from a different way. I live in an area that is more underprivileged. I do. I'm more attached to Beaver Falls. I'm more attached to Aliquippa. I'm more attached to Midland. I have family in all those areas. And I think once we get a seat at the table for them and let them know that, hey, this is something that might seem good here, but over here, you have to look at it this way to get this area to look like that area. It's equity amongst zip codes. We have to make sure that our zip codes aren't broken like some of the schools that are, where they're separated, but they're in the same zip code. You have to look at them different. You have to look at every area of Beaver County the same way you look at the areas of Beaver County. I know that probably didn't come out right, but
No, I'm just, let
that's
me
how
ask,
it's supposed to be.
are you saying, it sounds like you're saying, that the minority community isn't as well represented?
They're not. I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and say anything about race or anything like that. I'm literally saying minority communities, that is African American, Latin American, Chinese, Asian, women, African American women, they are not represented at every aspect of our budget, our county government, and it's going up to the state government and federal government. It's an issue that trickles down, and I'm saying from a different lens, we can grow Beaver County so that there's a Beaver County for all.
Commissioner Manning.
Yeah, I think what differentiates me is the diverse set of experiences I've had my whole career. Started as a shift worker, working in human resources, being the director of North American Human Resources, being a plant manager, being a small business owner, running nonprofits, working in downtown development. I've worked in every one of the riverfront towns that Julian just mentioned. Being out there, I think I just have a different set of competences. Not saying that a complementary set of competencies that bode well. It's the right experience, I think, for the job, for everything that we face, whether it's a pandemic, a train derailment, downtown development. I have experiences there, and I relate well and understand the issues because I've been out in the public, in those environments, working hand in hand with people to understand. So I think I just have a work ethic and a set of experiences and an energy and drive that's a little bit different, coming from a different perspective than these other gentlemen. Again, not better or worse, just my set of experiences.
Commissioner Camp.
Yeah, Mike, thanks. We knew there was going to be one tough question of the day. and as I said earlier, no matter who gets elected here, they're going to do the common good. I think that there isn't a difference between myself and any of the three other gentlemen up here with me today. But I think one thing I'm proud of is the work that I've done in the last 8 years. Meaning the board. Not only the board, but our employees in the courthouse. I said it earlier, we're only as good as the people who work below us. And I'm proud to say that I was part of putting those people in place. I believe my management skills, I'm respected throughout the courthouse by our employees, respected in the community as well, whether some people will disagree or agree. One of the things that will separate me is, and I can't use it anymore, I can't say it anymore, is my youth. I'm proud that Julian's up here. He's younger than me, but I have kids. I know everyone else has grandkids here, but I have kids, and I want to see this community grow. And the decisions I make on a daily basis, with the help of whoever else is there, I'm going to make it for the common good of Beaver County.
Okay. Commissioner Amadeo.
Yeah, when I was asked the question about the county, I wasn't sure if you were referring to the county itself or county
start at
government.
time.
And I was answering the question for county government. Would you repeat the question so I know exactly when?
No, I just said there's 3 seats on the board. There are 4 candidates here. So you've all gotten along and said respectful things. But in order for the voters to cast a ballot for you, what differentiates you from the other people on this panel?
Well, I've got the most experience on the entire board. As far as minority representation, Joe Spanik and I, 8 to 10 years ago, we created the Minority Coalition, and we gave the minorities in Beaver County a seat at the table. Not only did we give them a seat at the table, we gave them funding. I don't know what it is now, but back then we gave them $50,000. And there was a board. We met every quarter or so. So there was representation. And as long as I'm there, there will be representation.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time today. Julian Taylor, Tony Amadeo, Daniel Camp, and Jack Manning. And thank you to Dr. Cheryl King. Donnelly Seipel, Mike Romite proposing the questions on today's Candidate Cast, brought to you by the Cornerstone of Beaver County on Teleforum. You will each have 1 minute for final comments. Mr. Taylor, let's start with you.
Thank you for everybody who joined in and watched this debate. There's not a bad choice up here. I will confidently say that. But I'm going to ask you for your vote because I'm not just a veteran. I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to work really, really hard to make sure that Beaver County is number one. It's one of the best counties in the state. I believe in Beaver County, and I hope Beaver County will believe in me. So that's all I have.
Mr. Amadeo?
Oh, I'm sorry.
This way.
I thought we go this way.
Well, then we'll go that way. You're a teacher. I don't argue with teachers.
I want to be last.
You want to be last?
And I'm hoping that he who's last shall be first.
Mr. Manning.
Yeah, it's quite simple. 23, 24 years ago, my wife and I, as empty nesters, my wife of now 49 years, moved into Beaver County. Beaver County embraced us. Commissioners Charlie Camp and Dan Donatella appointed me as a trustee of the community college, started my engagement, my love affair with the county and the people of Beaver County. My older son moved up, married a girl from Beaver Falls. I have a 16-year-old granddaughter as a result of that. My younger son just moved here from Hawaii after 16 years because he wanted to be with family. His wife from Japan, my 4-year-old grandson. I get emotional thinking about it, but this is our home. We love it here. I'm proud to be a Beaver County Commissioner. I have no other purpose than to serve the county. Too much has been given, much is expected. And that's all I'm trying to do, and that's why I'd like to be reelected to serve for 4 more years. Thank you.
Commissioner Camp.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, WBVP. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you to the panelists that asked these questions today. 8 years ago, I asked you for your support. 4 years ago, I came back and asked for re-election. The only reason I asked for re-election again is because I believe the things we are doing in our office now are moving Beaver County forward, and it's not faltering, whether people say it is or not. I believe that the resources that we give in our communities to grow, I believe the resources that we give our employees in the courthouse to help service our communities whenever they come see us, we're doing a good job. I asked you to re-elect me on November 7th for Beaver County Commissioner. And as everyone up here says, this is our home. We want to see it grow and prosper, and I'm proud to say that by casting your ballot on November 7th for me, I will work to continue to do that every day. Thank you.
Mr. Amadeo, you wanted to be last.
I was just kidding.
I'll yield my 30 seconds to you, too.
You did.
I constantly say this, there's no better place to raise a family than Beaver County. I mean, when the jobs ended in Beaver County, our people had to move all over the country. And as I tried to allude to earlier, that's why we have Steeler Nation everywhere. I want to continue to be your commissioner, to continue to help bring back Steeler Nation back to the greater Pittsburgh area and Beaver County. So I humbly ask for your support. I want to continue to be your county commissioner, and thank you for your prior support. And thank you for a vote on Tuesday, if you see fit. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you for being a part of this. Panel members, Dr. King, thank you. Donnelly Seipel, thank you and good luck moving to Nashville. Oh, well, they're sad. You'll find something to make you happy down there. Mike Romine, thank you. This has been the Candidate Cast, brought to you by the Cornerstone of Beaver County. Thank you, Curtis, for plugging all this stuff in. Thank you to Al's Pizza for providing lunch. And thank you for listening to Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Secretary of State Blinken has returned to Israel for talks with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Biden administration advocates a pause in Israel's Gaza offensive, but one Mideast expert says that would be a big mistake.
Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, Simone Ladine, says the administration's proposed humanitarian pause,
whatever it is they mean by that,
would only delay the inevitable, especially with a long-awaited Israeli ground offensive just getting underway.
Stopping anything right now will just drag everything on and actually result in a more intense humanitarian disaster, I think, at the end of the day.
Ladine says the most humanitarian thing to do now is to let the battle play out and come to a close as quickly as possible. Bob Agnew reporting.
As Israeli troops surround Gaza City, the White House says scores of U.S. citizens have managed to escape the war zone.
The National Security Council's John Kirby said those who evacuated were dual citizens.
As the president said, so far, 74 U.S. citizens and family members arrived on the Egyptian side.
Kirby said the administration hopes that additional U.S. citizens will be able to leave Gaza in the coming hours and days, and the pace of Americans who want to leave will now move at an accelerated pace. Greg Clugston, the White House.
The Republican-led House approves more than $14 billion in military aid for Israel. The money would come from additional funds set aside for the IRS. Democrats, though, say the bill is dead on arrival in the Senate, and President Biden has promised a veto should it reach his desk. Fallen cryptocurrency king Sam Bankman-Fried, convicted on all counts of fraud and conspiracy. It didn't take the Manhattan federal jury long to deliver the guilty verdict. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures 7 points higher. The NASDAQ futures are down 54 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Thank the pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans while taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Harry, God has chosen you to have a son. The greatest story ever told is now an epic Christmas musical for the whole family.
I won the mother found.
You're in danger, Mary. Starring Fiona Paloma, Milo Manheim, Lecrae, Joel Smallbone, and Academy Award nominee Antonio Banderas.
This child, what is his name?
Jesus. Journey to Bethlehem. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. In theaters everywhere November 10th. Soundtrack also available. Get tickets now at journeytobethlehem.com.
The U.S. targeting Russia with a new round of sanctions over its war in Ukraine.
The sanctions imposed by the Treasury Department on Thursday target 130 firms and individuals from China, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates. The parties are accused of helping Moscow in procuring equipment needed on the battlefield, and they include suppliers and shippers. The U.S. State Department also has imposed diplomatic sanctions targeting Russia energy production and its metals and mining sector. Donna Porter, Washington.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese will soon become the first Australian leader in 7 years to visit China in recognition of improving bilateral ties between the two countries. He arrives on Saturday in Shanghai and will later meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing. China had curbed diplomatic contacts in reaction to Australian national security laws. Townhall.com. An ally of New York City Mayor Eric Adams comes under federal scrutiny.
Agents raided the Brooklyn home of Brianna Suggs, a fundraiser and longtime confidant to Mayor Adams, who abruptly ditched a planned White House meeting and flew home from Washington. A spokesperson for the FBI confirmed that a court-authorized law enforcement action had been carried out. Neighbors said several people, some wearing FBI windbreakers, were seen entering Suggs' home. An attorney for the Adams campaign said the mayor was not contacted by authorities, that his campaign operates with the highest standards, and that it will comply with any inquiries. I'm Norman Hall.
Former President Trump is asking a federal appeals court to lift a gag order that restricts his speech about potential witnesses, prosecutors, and court personnel, a case accusing him of plotting to overturn the results of the election in 2020. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Beaver County Radio's news source. 95.7 and 99.3 FM. along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning. We can expect mostly sunny skies today with a high near 56 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after this look at news. The Chippewa Township Fire Department was called to a vehicle fire at the Chippewa Walmart around 10:30 a.m. yesterday. Engine 22 and Squad 22-5 responded along with the Chippewa Fire Police. Automatic aid brought in engines 33 and 90 from Patterson Heights Volunteer Fire Department and Patterson Township Volunteer Fire Company. Arriving units found a working engine compartment fire on a car. Crews were on scene for around a half hour. It is not known at this time what caused the fire. The Pennsylvania Department of Health is alerting parents and caregivers of the Food and Drug Administration's recall and recommendation not to buy or feed Wanabana apple cinnamon fute puree pouches to children because the product may contain elevated lead levels. This includes all lot codes and expiration dates. The FDA has secured a voluntary recall from the manufacturer. The fute puree pouches are primarily white and green in color with a purple cap. Lead can be very harmful if ingested, especially for a young child, said Acting Secretary of Health Dr. Deborah Bogan. All families should have their children tested for lead exposure per CDC recommendations. Early identification of elevated lead levels can prevent the most serious effects, so all children can reach their full potential. A Pennsylvania nurse who allegedly gave lethal doses of insulin to numerous patients at healthcare facilities has been charged with additional crimes. 41-year-old Heather Presdy was initially charged in May with killing 2 nursing home patients. She was arraigned Thursday on new counts that include 2 more homicide charges. She is being held without bail at the Butler County Jail. Her lawyer says she's been cooperating with investigators. The latest charges allege mistreatment of 19 additional patients at 5 different care facilities since 2020. The state of Pennsylvania will work with a major natural gas producer to collect in-depth data on air emissions and water quality at well sites, enhance public disclosure of drilling chemicals, and expand buffer zones. Governor Josh Shapiro announced on Thursday that CNX Resources Corporation will partner with the State Department of Environmental Protection on environmental monitoring at 2 future well sites throughout all stages of the drilling and fracking process. The collaboration is an intensive data collection exercise that could be used to drive future policy changes. State officials are touting the partnership with CNX as the first of its kind. The reaction from environmental groups is mixed. Voters in Tuesday's general election in Pennsylvania will fill a vacant state Supreme Court seat that could play a significant role on voting-related cases during the 2024 presidential campaign. The court has a 4-2 Democratic majority, so the outcome of this race will not determine partisan control. But the seat could help Democrats or Republicans keep or gain control of the court when the next elections are held in 2025. In the meantime, the new justice could break any 3-3 ties on election-related cases that come up in the presidential race. Fans of hip-hop, country, pop, funk, R&B, and rock all have reason to cheer the 2023 class entering the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Missy Elliott, Kate Bush, Willie Nelson, Sheryl Crow, Chaka Khan, Soul Train creator Don Cornelius, and the late George Michael will be inducted into the hall tonight. The ceremony is also streaming live for the first time on Disney+. Also entering the hall are The Spinners, Rage Against the Machine, DJ Cole Herc, Link Wray, Al Cooper, and Elton John's longtime co-songwriter Bernie Taupin, 29 years after his writing partner.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
We can expect mostly sunny skies today with a high near 56 degrees. It'll be mostly cloudy tonight, going down to a low of 41. Isolated showers tomorrow with cloudy skies and a high near 54. Partly sunny Sunday with a high near 57. Partly sunny Monday, warming up to a high of 60. And a chance of rain Tuesday with mostly cloudy skies and a high of 60 degrees. That's a look at the news for now. I'm Curtis Walsh for 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP. Also streaming live around the world at beavercountyradio.com. From lowering or airbagging your rod or street custom to full custom color paint, GNU's also handles collision and general repairs. Say hello to cooler weather with the hottest car around. Call GNU's Body Works, 408th Street in Freedom.
Lincoln Park Performing Arts Center in
Call
Midland
GNU's Body Works,
Disney's
408th Street
Friday
in
Musical,
Freedom.
One-act edition, November 10th through the 19th, part of the Clearview Federal Credit Union subscription series. For tickets, visit lincolnparkarts.org.
99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and BeaverCountyRadio.com is your home for Geneva College Golden Tornado football. Tune in this Saturday as Coach Gino DeMarco's Golden Tornadoes host the Washington Jefferson Presidents. Pregame is 1230 on Beaver County Radio, and kickoff is set for 1. Geneva football is being brought to you by Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, the Beaver County Career and Technology Center, East Rochester and Tusca Shop and Saves, the True Value Hardware inside East Rochester Shop and Save, Dr. C. Timothy Lip, Fry Transportation, AK Nahas Furniture and Appliance Center, the law offices of Dylan McCandless, King, Coulter, and Graham, Geneva College, the Beaver Falls Athletic Department, and Beaver County Radio.
Now, it's time to talk on Teleforum on Beaver County Radio. 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, 99.3 FM, and BeaverCountyRadio.com. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
60 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you again to everybody that was a part of the candidate cast, the debate that's gone on for the last 2 hours. And it occurred to me, because I didn't know this, they told me, hey, Al's Pizza's coming. I said, what? Then I'm talking to Al when he gets there. Al Schaefer joins me, and Ethan Wolf, did I get it right? Joins me, and who's sitting next to you? This is being live Facebook feeded, by the way.
This is my mother, Francine.
Your mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got so many questions. The first one is, how did you end up being pizza? You started in law enforcement, if I'm correct.
Yes, sir.
Walk me through. Yes, sir, of course. Did you notice I set up straight just a little bit? How did you end up where you are? Because it seems like a good place.
Law enforcement, some unfortunate circumstances back in 2012. I got shot in the leg in Monaca.
That's the most polite phrasing of an unfortunate circumstance. You got shot in the leg.
Yes, sir. I don't like to make a big deal of it, but
well, how weird was it? Did you wake up the next day and say, "Okay, this isn't going to work out for me"? That's more than unfortunate.
Initially, but I had to put food on the table and had to continue to do the job, and so I did it for a few more years, and probably did 4 more years, and then I eventually got out.
How long had you been a police officer before that?
It was about 20 years.
20 years.
Mm-hmm.
How undoing of a culture is that? I've got family that are cops, and you tell me if I'm wrong. One of them said once you've been in law enforcement for about 5 years, that's pretty much your world.
It is.
And how difficult was it to face the undoing or the changing?
You know what? At that point, I think I had enough, so it wasn't all that bad. Ended up starting a career with the Carpenters Union.
Okay.
I always did enjoy construction work and stuff like that. So I joined the Carpenters Union, was with them, and I always had a knack or had a desire to have a pizza shop. I don't know why, but
Al Schaefer is my guest, and it's Al's Pizza. You're getting a brick and mortar shop.
Yes, sir.
All right, where's that going to be? Because the truck, by the way, the trailer, that's the nicest I have seen. That thing is gorgeous. That cost what a brick and mortar would cost.
That wasn't so bad.
No?
Yeah.
Where's the brick and mortar going to be?
We're in New Brighton at the old Foodland building now.
Yeah.
So the Fisher's Beverage is on the corner, and then we're the second door in from the left-hand side.
Right. Now, Ethan, what do you do at the shop?
I'm the pizza maker.
You're the dude.
Yes, sir. I make the pizzas up.
All right. if it's a buddy of yours and they want a pepperoni, does it ever happen that an accidental extra 3 or 4 pepperoni hit because your boss is a former police officer? Pepperoni theft, does that ever happen?
If it's a special somebody, you might catch
You might-
couple extra pieces of pepperoni on your pizza.
Do you drive too?
Yes, I used to drive.
You used to drive?
I used to drive. We don't deliver out of the truck. So.
Well, you don't need to. You're in a truck.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, makes perfect, absolute sense. Has it been what you thought it would be? You said you, for whatever reason, always wanted to run a pizza shop. You're running one in a truck, and you're about to run another one.
Yeah, we started back in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever COVID started,
Wait. You started a business when COVID started?
Yeah, our first place was in Economy.
Okay.
It used to be Clear's Country Covered years ago, and we started there, and things didn't go the way they were planned to go, and we ended up.
That was I think that was true of COVID with the entire planet.
Yeah.
Well, if it didn't go that well then, or if it didn't go as well as you planned, what made you say, no, I'm going to keep at this?
It had another opportunity to go to the soccer arena out there in Uswickley Township, the Tri-County Soccer Arena.
Yeah.
There, did really well. We were selling out on fish nights. We were serving the bar, serving people watching soccer games. It was really good there. And then COVID came through even stronger and just wiped us out. We all got sick, and we ended up closing. The bar closed, and when we came back, the bar didn't open back up, and we lost all that revenue, and it's just couldn't afford to stay there. I mean, it was a hefty rent payment, and we just couldn't do it anymore. So,
and at that point, you said, "Okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a truck."
Yeah, that was something else that
stick-to-itiveness is being demonstrated with your attitude about this. That's great.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't want to give up on it, so I thought, you know what, you don't see very many pizza trucks out there, so let's give it a shot. So I found one and found this old beat-up jalopy in Monaca. And
let me guess, you did the work on it yourself, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So found it in the back alleyway in Monaca, got it for a cheap price, fixed it up good enough to get it on the road, and
did really well with it, though.
Mom is proud.
Last year went pretty well, and then we started up with it this year, and then we started talking and say, hey, man, let's get a new one. Let's get another one. So we ended up getting a new one this year.
Now, what's the transition? What's going to be different? Ethan, you might get in on this too. Cooking a good pizza in a truck versus having an actual brick and mortar place. What will change? Will anything change?
So what'll change mostly is our size. In the pizza truck, we're very small in our portions. Everything's smaller sizes. So when we get into the brick and mortar, we'll do bigger pizzas. We'll have more on our menu. So therefore, just a lot of change on the menu.
That makes perfect sense. If you're buying on the side of the road, you're getting a personal side. That makes absolute perfect sense. Mm-hmm. What's the timeline when it opens up?
We're looking for November 14th.
Really?
As long as everything goes right, goes the way it's supposed to, which it looks like it is, we should. They're putting a floor in today. So we should start moving stuff in next week.
What have you learned? Because as a carpenter, you know what a lot of that work is, but what have you learned about a brick and mortar? I'm sure you had to learn how to tune an engine with the truck. What do you got with the brick and mortar?
Bigger bills.
Bigger bills?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How much bigger the pizzas, though? They'll cover the bigger bills.
Well, on the truck, you kind of have to inflate prices a little bit to cover your costs. You know, there's a lot of costs in it.
Well, yeah, $4 a gallon.
Yeah. So now being in the shop, you know, you can get more bang for your buck when you come. You know, you can get a bigger pizza for less cost. You know, so it's a little easier in the shop as far as that goes. But
Al Schaefer and friends, you didn't even introduce your mom.
Well,
He
yeah,
did.
I
He
did
did it.
earlier. Yeah, that's my mom, Fran.
No, but you said that's my mom. You didn't.
Oh, yeah, this is Francine, my mom.
Okay. Francine's sitting over there, and I've been watching, and she is absolutely proud as punch of you.
Most definitely.
I'm watching. Pillar of the community and giving back to the community. And is there going to be an Al's special? And is pineapple going to be on it?
Pineapple doesn't go
Sense
on
the tone.
pizza.
Good.
Doesn't go over
Good.
very well.
What weird food do you guys see on pizza that you just look at it and go, no?
Well,
is pineapple? No.
Yeah, I don't like pineapple, but we have a pickle pizza.
Really?
If you like pickles, you'll definitely like it. It's good. It's really good. That's all I can say.
Where do you fall on anchovies?
Never heard of them.
Does anybody ever order an anchovy?
I had a couple people.
Did you?
I got a friend in Freedom, Ron Lee Hockey. He always messes with me. He says, "Where's my anchovies at, cuz?" And I said, "Sorry, Ron."
Yeah, no, good. You stick to your principles. Anchovies are fish. No, it's not the same. What would you want people to know? What would you want to say? Hey, this is what we're about and what we're doing. Because you don't see brick and mortars come back or start up too often. This is amazing.
It's all homemade. Everything's homemade from start to finish. My mom is the genius behind the marinara sauce. I do the pizza sauce.
Al, how do you not open with my mom's homemade sauce?
I know, right?
Yes, she's sitting right there, and she's nodding and mouthing at you. All right. So everything's homemade. Everything's made fresh.
Yes, everything's made fresh. Yeah. So we'll start off with pizzas, calzones. We have stuffed cheesy bread, breadsticks, and all that stuff. And then later on, once things kind of settle down, we'll add sandwiches and possibly salads to the menu too.
What's your favorite? You get one pizza for the rest of your life. What is Al choosing?
Well, we just made a Philly steak yesterday, and then a barbecue chicken's pretty good too. So I don't know. I'm stuck between the two of those.
Ethan? What's your
my favorite pizza?
Oh, God, it's pickle pizza.
Ooh.
Hey, you got to try it.
Oh, no.
I'm going to try it.
Definitely not the pickle pizza.
Dude.
That would definitely not be my favorite.
Yeah, Ethan doesn't
It's
like
like
the pickle
something
pizza.
bad happened with Kermit visiting the pizzeria.
Not a fan.
I will try it. All right, you get one for the rest of your life. What is it?
Probably the buffalo chicken pizza.
Yeah.
All right.
A little spice to it. A lot of flavor.
Mom, besides something with your marinara, what would it be?
I pretty much like the Sicilian style pizza. It's the thicker crust, and pretty much go with mushrooms, green pepper, maybe sausage.
I think I'm going to go with Mom on that one. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for lunch. It's the only reason I came to work today. They said, "Hey, Al's bringing pizza by." All right, well, I guess I'll show up. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
It is Teleforum Out. Tell people again where the brick and mortar is.
It's the old Foodland on 5th Avenue in New Brighton. Our physical address is 409th Street. I don't know why, but that's what it is, Suite D. Just across the street from the new Foodland.
And the 14th, you said?
Yes, that's, I believe, next to Tuesday, 2 weeks. Tuesday in 2 weeks?
Yeah, because Election Day is this Tuesday, the 7th.
Okay, so yes, that's what we're hoping for.
Well, good luck. You guys can come visit anytime.
Absolutely.
Just no anchovies.
No problem.
All right.
Hi, this is Tom Young from First Consultants Inc. Have you ever heard the phrase